So welcome guys to another episode today. I've titled it Black Men in Dentistry. We've got some special guests that are going to be helping us to really talk about the reasons why we don't see that many Black men in the UK within dentistry, within dental schools. What are the barriers? What are the challenges? We want to get into all of that. So first and foremost, I want to say thank you to Dr. Dapaah, to Dr. Dapaah, and to TJ for coming on today. If you just introduce ourselves. So I'm Dr. Arnold, working in Preston in Lancashire in the Northwest. If everyone else can introduce themselves, then we can take it from there.
So I'm TJ, fourth year student at Queen Mary's.
Dr. Daps or Dapaah. I'm a first year associate. I just finished FD last year.
And my name is Dr. Kevin Dapaah. I'm a dentist, but I'm a principal dentist and one of the partners of a practice called Dove Dental and Wellbeing Spa. Thank you.
Awesome. So we'll get right into it. If you look online, there are these stats that are put out where they say that, Black dental students make up 2% of the population in dental schools. That in 2016, there was 1% of registered dentists that identified as Black British. So clearly there's a small percentage of Black men, of Black people in dentistry. It'll be interesting to know what is the actual number of Black men in dentistry within the UK. That would actually be an interesting statistic to find out if anybody did ever research that. But I want to ask each of you a question. When you were in dental school, how many other Black guys did you know that were also dental students? So we'll start with Dr. Dapaah.
So in my year, there were two others. And I think probably if I was talking from when I was in first year, I would say no more than 10.
10, okay.
The whole dental school.
That's a lot.
How many people were in your year group? So you said two other guys, but how many people were in your year group?
60.
Okay.
60, yeah. I would say, to be fair, I'll probably say 7 if I was to be more accurate across the whole dental school.
And roughly across the whole dental school, what? So 300?
So 6 times 4, 240, yeah, 240, 300, 250 to 300, I'd say. Yeah, okay. So 7 across there. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. I'll go next. For me, I was the only Black guy in my year group in the whole dental school, actually, in UCLan. Wow. But UCLan's a smaller dental school. It's got 120 in the whole dental school. So I was one within the 120. In terms of other Black people, it was ladies. So I saw 3 other ladies who were Black, one being in my year group. So not much at all in terms of Black people. How about you, Daps?
So I think I'm the same like Dr. Arnold. So when I was in dental school, let me think about this. I was the only Black guy in my year. I also had another Black female. Within the dental school, I think when I was in first year, there was a guy in 5th year. And then when he graduated, so then I went on, when I was in 5th year, there was a guy in 1st year. So between that time, so when I was in 2nd to 4th year, it was only me. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. So not many at all. But there was a lot more girls. I think there was at least 1 Black female in each year, but not many guys.
Okay. TJ.
Yes, something kind of similar as well. So last year, because there's the guy that's just graduated now, that was a Black guy. So last year, I think there was around 3 in the dental school, including me. But now, because one of them graduated, I'm pretty sure there's only other one, and he's in the year below. Oh no, actually there's two. There's one in my year and one in the year below, black males. But a similar trend being there's a few more black ladies, but black men, there's definitely no more than 3, as they in the dental school.
Okay, so why is that? I guess what made you guys want to come into dentistry, and why is it that not many of the black guys are thinking the same or choosing to do the same? Why did you guys think that?
I think one of the reasons is exposure, because I think traditionally, coming from, I would say, particularly African, or if I was to spread it across and say Afro-Caribbean kind of background, there's kind of a proud moment when or a parent would want one of the traditional routes to be in the medical field, i.e. in medicine. So, and I think a lot of us being first generation, second generation, Afro-Caribbeans, the UK, obviously, someone's sick at home, the doctor will come and help, it's like a noble kind of thing, but teeth is not really considered as a kind of priority in that respect. More, and obviously when you come to the UK, or in the UK, our diets are different and things like that, and obviously that has an impact. So I think part of it is exposure. And talking from my experience, I was actually on a work experience to get into medicine initially. And it was only when I got into when I was doing the work experience, it was actually a hospital in Kent, Medway, in Gillingham, I think, something like that. It's in during conversation that the doctor was saying to me, because I thought initially back then, I thought medicine was like every other course where you study your degree, and then that's it, you become a doctor, you become whatever, and that's it. I wasn't really aware of the time of postgraduate training and all that, and kind of routes to becoming a consultant, or routes to becoming a GP, and all that kind of stuff. And what personally put me off was the fact that this guy was heavily in training. He was in his probably late 30s. He had a family to juggle, and he was working all hours under the sun. And then we was talking, and he said, he told me if he was to start his life again, he would consider dentistry. I was like, wow, really? So, and then I explored it from there. So traditionally, in my kind of sphere of people that I knew, I had no connections or no one I knew at the time could push me or encourage me into dentistry. But medicine was kind of the holy grail, or the main kind of career path. But one thing I've seen now, especially, and you touched on, Dr. Arnold, you touched on visibility. Yeah. There's quite a few black dentists in the older generation that I know, and are practice owners, and they've been around for a long time. But I think and I'm shocked that during the age of social media, it's so easy. So, for example, Dr. Dapaah reached out to me on Insta. We had a conversation, and it's encouraging that just putting your stuff out there. And obviously, Dr. Arnold, we spoke via social media.
Yeah.
So it's like, if there was no social media, you'll be like doing your thing. And I've even come to you and asked your thoughts on cases, like on opinions and stuff like that. So but if there was no social media, I wouldn't really know. You'll be doing the great stuff you're doing, being the best young dentist in Northwest. You'll be doing there, and I won't be getting any benefit from that. You know what I mean? Because do you know what I mean? So, and a lot of students, people who are prospective students, are reaching out because of social media. So, and when people can see that you're doing something, and you appear to be doing quite well in it, it becomes attractive and an option. So I think that's one of the things. But I'll stop talking and let the others.
No, thank you for that, because I think exposure is a very big thing, and visibility. I think just seeing you on social media what you're doing as a principal dentist, that's actually quite uplifting for me to see. And then whenever you're posting stuff, it's almost like a win that you have is like a win for me as well. You know, get excited seeing what you're putting out and the amazing work that you're doing. So there's something there in the subconscious where when you see somebody you can relate to being successful, that almost energizes you as well.
And I think just as us being on this platform and just generally speaking to the wider Black community and those in dentistry, I think competition is not something we should really have amongst each other. You know, we're here to uplift. And if I know of something that I can do to assist and help you to make your life easier and vice versa, I should be able to reach out to my brothers. Does that make sense? Because in my dental school, there is a lot of Asian, or there was quite a few Asians, and some of them my best friends. But one thing I did find just that they would help each other, they would assist each other. If there was an Asian person in a higher year that had gone through an exam or presentation, stuff like that, you know, they will get the cases and I'll have access to the cases because I'm friends with them. You understand? Whereas, you know, you're just, if you didn't have that connection, there was kind of affinity amongst them, yeah? And because there was a few of them, you know, they kind of got together, especially those who are Muslims as well. They were very, very, very tight-knit community, yeah? And they was able to assist and help one another. And I think, not to say we don't benefit from that, but if there was a community like this, if there was more of us, then we'll see us excelling and doing better, you know. Yeah.
So I'll put the same question to Dr. Daps and TJ. The same question about what made you come into dentistry. Did you see other Black men in dentistry and that inspired you? How did it happen for you guys? We can start with Dr. Daps.
See, mine was a little bit more a case of my parents are both pharmacists. And I just thought, okay, if that's there for me to fall back on, I see what they do. I know I can apply for that. Let's just try something else. I think I spoke to my mum. I think she knew one of her friends from Nigeria who also owned a dental practice. But as we're saying, there was no exposure. I wouldn't have known about this person without my parents. So that was the one connection I had. And I thought, let me try it. Did the work experience and I liked it. So I thought, let's go down this route. If it doesn't work, we've always got the pharmacy to fall back on. Not that it's like a fallback, but I know that the dentistry wasn't for me if the stars weren't going to align. So I tried it and I got in. But as Dr. Dapaah was saying, it is exposure. It's a case of, I feel as though there's not a lot of, or before when I was applying, I think I knew 2 Black dentists, that was it. And it's a case of us being able to use this platform, what we're using to be able to reach younger people so they can see, oh, there's someone that's done it before me, gone before me, done it. And we can use it as an example to look up to. Yeah, I think the exposure is a massive thing. And I think is that if we can be exposing ourselves more, it'll allow younger people to see what we can do. That's why when I was in Liverpool, they'd always ask for people that could do on the weekends. It was also for money, but students that could do the open days. And I just thought if I saw somebody that looked like myself as a prospective student on an open day, oh, he's done it. If he's done it, he hasn't got 2 heads. Why can't I do it? Yeah, literally, it's just something so simple like that. There's not a lot of us Black males in dentistry. I don't think there is. And I think the more that we can do professional Instagram pages, I say that myself, I need to get one, but the more that we can do, the more that we can put ourselves out there, just little things like that. People can see, oh, this person's done it before me. Why can't I also do it? And I think it will get more and more of us. And like Dr. Dapaah was saying, I lived with 3 other Asian guys. And that was when I understood how Muslims stick together. Like they ride and die for each other. Like if one person fails an exam, they feel like everyone's failed the exam because why is everyone not helping this one person? So if we can get our community to be like that and have that similar type of close-knit within the Black community, within dentistry, then I think it will be a good thing to see.
Yeah. TJ.
Yeah, I definitely agree and echo a lot of what you guys are saying. Like there's other barriers, of course, when you might decide to do dentistry, but the first thing that's even going to put your mind on it, it really is that exposure. Like, why would you even think of this career as being an option? And I think I really liked what Dr. Arnold was saying about it sometimes being subconscious, where it's not exactly that you've seen this, oh, I want to be like him, but it's almost like in the back of your head, you're always going to have that in mind. And I mean, it applies to different sectors and other things as well. Like, for example, let's say the rappers in the UK, a lot of them are black. It means that a white guy, if you ask them to rap, they're like, me, I can't rap, I'm white, how can I rap? Or basketball players, it's predominantly played by black men, because they're seeing other black men in the back of their head, they get attracted towards that. And I think that is the main way that people become attracted to a profession in the first place. And drawing this to my experience, I didn't really have that, to be honest. And I think that my story is a bit unique in the terms of there wasn't anyone that I really saw that I was trying to emulate or that really guided me towards it. It was a bit of I'd say it's a bit of a fluke, because I don't see how it would happen for anyone else, where I was just literally Googling, trying to search certain jobs and try and look at one myself and say, oh, could I see myself doing that? Could I see myself doing this? And then even when I did look at dentistry and decide, okay, this might be something I'm interested in. This was back in year 9, 10, I think. Me and Dr. Arnold discussed this in an interview. When I did decide, okay, I want to see what dentistry has to offer, I went that night, started emailing practices, asking my mum, do you know anyone that's in dentistry? She said no. You sending emails. A lot of them said, oh, sorry, you need insurance, or you're too young, or sorry, we don't take on work experience applicants. And that was back in year 9, 10, and I didn't get work experience until I was in year 13. And that year 13 experience was through the college itself. It had an application process where you could apply to go to a dental practice. Whereas other people around me, because there were other, let's say, back to the Asians, they tend to have a lot of other people that are in the same profession. I think they represent like 20% of a dental profession. So that means that if any of them decide, okay, maybe I do want to be a dentist, then they do have this like group of people which are willing to take them on, help them, to guide them. And it even stretches to as far as when I got into dental school, when I was talking to other people, and I was talking to some people, and they were like, oh, did you not have this document? There's a list of past questions for the last 5 years, which said all the questions. Or, oh, did you not know that? Oh, Bart's really like this type of thing. Because I remember I went to my Bart's interview, and then I'm sitting in the waiting room, and I'm seeing other people carrying like violins, guitars, art pieces, and stuff like this. And I was there barehanded with my pencil in my hand, thinking, what's going on here? But it's because they had talked to other people that had been through it, and I didn't really have anyone that was in that space that I could ask. So I think, yeah, primarily it's that exposure, realizing this is an option for me. But then after that, there's plenty more barriers after that when you decide dentistry is for you.
Yeah. Karen, sorry, Doctor.
You know, there's two other things as well. Like, one thing I realized was something what TJ kind of touched on. I think one thing I realized when I actually got in, I realized that these people are not cleverer than me. You understand? They're not, you know, as Dr. Dapaah said, like they don't have 2 heads or 3 heads. You know, they're not that clever or not that's great. And one powerful thing for me, and what was a paradigm shift for me during dental school, was this concept. And I learned the power of understanding, because I did a previous degree before where all we had to do was like basically memorize everything for the exam and then forget about it. But one challenge I had is that in this new degree, you had to like have an understanding of the foundational concepts, so you can always call upon them when you're applying it in your day-to-day practice. And that was a challenge. But in midway through dental school, we had these exams, and I realized that when I understood the powerful concept of understanding, I always became top 10 in my year when it came to exams. So that proved for me that these guys were not greater than me. And one reason I'm touching on this point is because I realized that even before dental school, even getting into dental school, you know, there'll be other people who have links just naturally through family, friends, and stuff like that. And if they're writing their personal statement, for example, these guys will have 6 or 7 personal statements. Yeah, just there. And from there, they can kind of see and learn and then create. Whereas the people from our community don't have that access. So we talk about exposure, that there's access. You don't have that access. And because you don't have the access, you're just struggling in the dark in your own corner, where the other guys have got, you know, they know someone that went Sheffield, they know someone went Queen Mary, they know someone that went King. They can get the interview questions and stuff like that. And these guys, so because of that link and that assistance, these guys are 10 steps ahead. When you're just trying for the first time, you know what I mean? Trying to make your way and stuff like that. And I honestly think if I had the access that some other people had access to, the same degree of access, sorry, I wouldn't have gone to dentistry as a postgraduate. I would have gone to dentistry straight off. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think also, if you talk about deeper kind of things, I think also from our community, we could touch on later, there's an inferiority complex of can I actually do it? And I think from, I don't know about you guys, but you know, for where I'm from, I don't come from the nicest background. So you have to overcome certain social barriers. You have to overcome certain things in your local community that you have to battle and fight before you can even consider dentistry. And one of the things is, for example, having a DBS check. Yeah, you know, a lot of our counterparts, you know, have been, you know what I mean, have been arrested and all this. And if they wanted to change their life around, they couldn't because get dentistry, because that boom becomes a barrier. So there's that kind of thing, that kind of social economic issues that we're facing, and it's very important for things like this when people can see. So as TJ touched on, if you look at the music industry, this person's a rapper. Okay, that doesn't take any qualifications. Okay, what does that mean? That means pay for a camera guy, getting a beat, and putting some words together. Not as easy as that, by the way. Put some words together and create a video, and then you can easily upload it. There's a low what do you call it, barrier to entry in those kind of things. Yeah, where here the barriers to entry are stupendously high. And coming from the community that we're coming from, first generation, second generation Afro-Caribbeans come to this country, and then the social issues on top of that are further compounded, and then the inferiority complex, which is another third layer on top of that. I don't mean to be preaching, but those things are those invisible things that we face before we can even do it.
So you've given us a lot to think about there. I want to split it into access to information, and then I want to go into the inferiority complex part that you've been talking about. So with the access, one thing that I'm involved in is helping aspiring dentists get into dental school. What I've realized, because I used to tutor as well whilst I was in university, is that a lot of people are not just academically smart, but they've had coaching. So whether that was coaching with their GCSEs, coaching with their A levels, coaching with their interview preparation or their personal statement. These were things that I was never aware of when I was applying for dental school. Even when I was doing my GCSEs or A levels, I didn't know that there was such a thing as you get a tutor to come to your house and they will help you with solving math equations. Like that blew my mind when I found out, oh, this is actually a big thing that people use to get their kids ready to apply for these
styles by force.
Because at uni, when I worked as a tutor and I was seeing all these parents calling me and getting me to come to their house, and I was thinking, this is how the other half do it. If I had the access to all of this, my A levels would have been 100 times better. So access. Let's talk to that thing about access. TJ, Dr. Daps, what access did you see or experience that Black people don't usually get to see or experience?
Yeah, I think what you mentioned there about the tutoring, all of that kind of stuff, I think also links to what Dr. Dapaah was saying about people having the belief in themselves that they can do it. So, and when we talk about compounding of social effects as well, so you have some people that were in private school since they were a kid and they were young. So it wasn't necessarily that they were more intelligent than this certain group of people, but literally by almost forced by pushing these kids to their limit. You can start to coach them and teach them, oh, this is how you revise. As like, instead of, let's say, reading the text, it's more about testing yourself and doing active recall. So these people that learned it down back in private school when they were 5 years old, that made their self-confidence increase and their belief that, oh, I can actually do this. And that translates when they get to high school again, and they put them forward and forward. And by the time they're in A-level time, they feel like they have access to the information in a way that they know how to revise. They know that they have this, they know how to, if they set their mind to do something, they can do it if they search out all the information. And I feel like I had that in a way where when I was in, let's say, year 11, I was starting from a very different point to other people. So not that I had to work harder necessarily, but just that they knew it's a smarter way of working and the smarter way of going about things in general. And I think that definitely was a really big factor.
Yeah. Dr. Daps.
Yeah, I think I just resonate with what everyone said, but if I just bring it on a personal level, I will say when I applied in year 13, for those of you who don't know, I applied twice, so I took a gap year. When I applied in year 13, the school helped, they helped me do my personal statement. But apart from that, that was it. Got one interview. The school helped again with the interview practice. But when honestly, I didn't get in that time. But then when I compare it with my gap year application, then I was able to find, oh, even my parents were like, we just thought, oh, you go for interview, chilling. What can be wrong with that? You just go, you just say what you want, answer the question. And then when you got the rejection, they were like, oh, you didn't answer it in a specific way. Then when we did our research, I did my research in my gap year, then I was now finding people who helped you with personal statements. You had interview courses. People can come to your house, do one-to-one Skype sessions about interview practice. And then when I just look back and I think on my gap year application as a whole and my year 13 application as a whole, when I got the access to these certain different things in my gap year, I was just a lot more polished. Like the answers that I was given, they were standard answers I was given. It's just, not that I've been coached, but just I've been helped in a way that obviously other people had this helpings before. So that when in my mind, I'm thinking, are we not seeing Black people in dentistry because they are not getting this help? Or are they getting to their stages where they're getting interviews and they're just fumbling at that stage because they're not getting that help? They want to do it and then they don't get past that final little hurdle. Because when I think about it, once you've got an interview, the uni likes you. The uni wants you there. You've got past the first stage. The last thing that you need to do is just get that offer from the interview. So is it a problem of people not getting that offer from the interview technique? Because when I say again, my technique the first time, second time around, it was completely different. Like I wasn't answering questions the way that they'd want me to answer it. So it's just a case of looking back and seeing, is everyone getting the correct access to the tools that they need to get to the position that they want?
Yeah, I agree as well, because this reminds me of my personal statement. So the first, when I applied, I wrote my personal statement and I thought it sounded great on paper. Like it sounded like it flowed well, it sounded good. I gave it to family members, none of them were in dentistry, but I had no one else really to ask. So I just asked people to have a read and say, yeah, it sounds great. But then I think I remember when I got rejected from Leeds, they sent back like a feedback form and it showed that basically their way of marking the personal statement, they weren't even reading it for how it flowed and all that. They had a checklist and the checklist was exactly what they wanted and what they were scoring out of 3, out of 5, out of this. And I didn't know that before going in and applying. So I think that's, it draws back to not necessarily people being more intelligent than you in a certain way, but just not having the access to the information to know that this is specifically what they're looking for. And I think that's perhaps maybe a flaw of the application process, but I guess they have to do it some way. And I know I've talked to some tutors which say they don't even read the personal statements from start to finish. They're just looking for these certain things. And I think that's why it makes a big difference. Like you probably apply, or you can go to an interview and think you've done great, but not knowing that they're actually looking for these certain buzzwords which have been passed down on documents in other people's groups.
Yeah. So what I'm getting from all of this is there are some things that certain groups take for granted that they grow up with access to that we don't have. And as a result, we're missing out on opportunities because we just don't know that there's certain methods and approaches to applying for dental school, to writing personal statements, to doing well at interview.
hoping to apply to dentistry as a graduate, and today I entered the Dental Mentor MMI interview practice. I learned a lot more about the types of interview questions, how to portray myself at interview, and I also got a lot of helpful feedback on things I should change, things I should say and things I shouldn't say. So overall, I found this experience very, very helpful.
It's really helped my confidence. Up until now, I was really worried about the interviews. I didn't think I really knew how to do it and didn't think I'd do particularly well, but after today I have a lot more confidence in myself. I realised that actually I can do it and it is doable.
The workshop today really helped me a lot with the interview prep. They gave really constructive comments and very personalised comments as well, so I really enjoyed it.
If you're thinking about studying dentistry, whether you're in college or whether you're in a degree right now, I think just have a chat with them and they will help you from start to finish.